everybody. So it's been a while since I've posted any videos, and the reason for that is the weather has been really bad here, and I almost forgot how the sun looks like. But as you can see, today is a beautiful day and we have the sun out. So I wanted to review my car that I have had for almost like 3 years. So I'll show you around the car and tell you what I think about it. So this car is a 2015 Dodge Challenger S60 Plus. I bought it in 2015 in California, and I brought it with me to Germany. I did a video about why I bought this car and why I brought it here. You can check the link in the description. Yes, I know this is a V6 model, not a V8, but I still like it, and it still makes 305 horsepower and almost 270 pound-feet of torque, which is respectful. And it does 0 to 60 or 0 to 100 km per hour in 6 seconds. That's not too bad. That's faster than most of the average cars. Still not a V8. And one of the most important things that it doesn't have, it does not have the rumble, the Hemi rumble, bum, which I really do like. Now let's go around the car. One thing I really like about this car, the way it looks. It just looks angry. It's really pissed off at you just standing there and looking at you, which is awesome. I like an angry car. I'm not an angry person myself, but I like my cars angry. And I think out of all the pony cars and muscle cars available in the market, this one looks the best. And it does actually look like its ancestors back in the 70s. The other ones, they pretty much became European sport cars, which is still not a bad thing, but not my favorite thing. This thing just looks badass. All the lines and everything, I think looks gorgeous. You might disagree, but looking at it, it just looks different than anything out there, especially in Europe. It really stands out. When you're parking in a parking lot, everybody kind of looks at it and it gets a lot of attention. It does get a lot of attention everywhere you go in the Europe. But many people don't know what it is, so they call it a Mustang, which is a shame. I usually drive to the crowd, but this is where all the plastic is. I'm joking, this is actually where the engine is. And this engine is a 3.6 liter V6. It does make 305 horsepower. I do believe the Camaro's V6 is better. It does make 330 horsepower for a lighter car, so it is faster. But still, this car looks muscle car, but that one does not look like a muscle car anymore. Speaking of power, let's hear the exhaust out. It's not too loud and it's not a V8, but it does make some noises, which is not too bad. So let's listen to it. Let's look at the trunk of this car. It is huge, and I think it's the biggest trunk for any two-door coupes anywhere. That's a normal size balloon right there, and I would say you can put 100 balloons in here. So if you're going to a birthday party or something, that's a car to take. You can take a lot of balloons, which is really impressive. And let's look at the back seat of this car. I would say it has the most comfortable back seat in its class. This is a back seat. It is an actual functional seat, and it's not like those seats that look like seats for, I don't know, Barbies or something, and they're too tiny. Yeah. Of the car compared to the last model I think it looked really cheap. This one does have a lot of plastic, but I would say it's a good quality plastic and it's pretty soft. And it does have some high quality stuff, which it does feel high quality. But again, it's not an expensive car, so you don't get an expensive interior. But it is still pretty nice, I would say. And I do love the gauges. The gauges really look classic. The screen between them is really nice. I do not like some of the cars that the whole thing in front of them is a screen. I think that just looks too modern for me. And the Uconnect touchscreen, 8.4 inch touchscreen, is pretty nice and easy to use. I'm not going to get into the details because there are many videos that get into the details and you can see how it works. But one thing that I don't like about it, it does not have the Apple CarPlay. You do get updates every year, but that hasn't been any of the updates so far. I know the 2017 models do have it, but for whatever reason we cannot get the Apple CarPlay in our cars. So yeah, the seats are pretty comfortable. The driving position is not bad. I do like the way you feel when you sit here. So let's drive this car and see how it is. So let's drive this thing. I have about 32,800 kilometers on the car, which is about 20,000 miles. And I know that's not much for 3 years. Well, one of the reasons is the weather is not that good here most of the times, so I don't get to drive the car that often. And one of the other reasons is I do ride my bikes and I do use public transport often. One thing that you should keep in mind, this car is not a sport car and it's not meant to feel like a sport car. And it does drive like a muscle car. It is big, but still you can handle the car, and it's actually pretty fun to drive it. I love driving it, and right now I'm in the Black Forest and I do enjoy driving it here. The roads are pretty fun and you can drive it fast and toss it around. But again, it's not a sport car, so don't expect it to handle like a sport car. And driving this thing, you feel like a badass. And I'll just show you a clip. Whenever I drive this car and get out of my car, that's how I feel every day. When I park it somewhere and get out of my car. Check it out. So yeah, that's how I feel. But driving it, it is actually pretty comfortable. The seat position and the whole view that you have is really good. The visibility could be better, but it's not that bad. I have had Camaros and they really have a poor visibility and it's terrible. But compared to that, it's actually pretty good. One thing that I would suggest to get is the blind spot monitoring, which this car has. So if there's a car in the corner that like you can't see, it will beep and there's a light that shows there is a car in there, so do not change lane or turn or whatever, which I would suggest getting it on this car. The suspension feels pretty good. This one does have the super track pack, so it is half an inch lower and it does feel stiffer, and I do like it. The transmission, I would say it's perfect, it's flawless. It's an 8-speed ZF transmission, if I'm not mistaken, and it does feel really good. When you want to just drive relaxed, it does feel relaxed, and you don't even notice it's changing gear. But when you want it to drive like harsh, you can put it in sport mode, and you actually feel it's changing gear every time, which is awesome, I think. And the steering wheel, you can change the way it feels. You can do sport, normal, and comfortable. You do feel the difference. There is a big difference between each setting. The sport feels stiffer as usual, and the comfortable and normal feels softer. But I would say even the comfortable setting, it's not as soft as many other cars, like luxury cars. So do not expect it to be like super soft, like buttery feeling. It does still like make you work a little bit. And the acceleration, not too bad. It does move. You do feel it moving. It's not like, wow, this is the fastest car I've ever driven. Well, it is the basic engine. And but it does feel better in the sport mode, which I usually drive it in when I'm in these types of roads. And it actually is fun to drive this car in the autobahn. And I've driven it to the max speed. If you want to check that video, link is in the description. So check that out too. But what would I think about this car after driving it for 3 years, after doing many road trips with it? Let's turn around here. Well, the thing is, if I could go back in time, I would buy this car again. because for the money that I paid for it at that time, I bought it brand new with 80 miles on it for $30,000, 500, if I'm not mistaken, with taxes and everything included. And for that price, it was a really good car, and I couldn't buy anything better. I really wanted to buy a Scat Pack Sublime Green, but I didn't have the money. And to be honest with you, I have driven the Hemi, the RT, the 5.7 liter engine. That one did not impress me. Of course, it is faster than this car, but it's not as fast as I wanted it to be, or as fast as you had to pay for. I could buy one for about, like, the difference was about $8,000 if I wanted the RT. I did have the money to buy RT, but I had to save up the rest of the year. You know, I couldn't like spend money on anything. So I decided not to, because the difference was not that great. But if you do drive the 6.4 liter, you do feel the difference. The exhaust, the engine, everything is different. It's just a different monster. But the 5.7 liter is pretty quiet for a V8. If you do get that car, you do need to put some aftermarket exhaust on it. But the 6.4 liter, the Scat Pack or the SRT, the way that comes from the factory, it is pretty loud and it does make some good noise. So that's my opinion. But again, I do think this is a really good car, and like in the turns, to be honest with you, the Hemi, the V6, and like all of them, they feel the same. So if you're turning in all these roads, you do not feel a big difference. But one thing to keep in mind, those cars can catch you in a straight line. That's pretty much what they can do. And they can make you smile more, pretty much. That's also one thing to keep in mind. That was my opinion about this car. Give it a thumbs up, comment, tell me your opinion on what you think. Subscribe to whatever you want, share the video, don't share the video. I hope you enjoyed my opinion, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please check my other videos out, because I really need the views. I'm not getting a lot of views. And hope you will have a wonderful day. Till next video, have a good one. Go drive faster, drive faster, drive faster. Woohoo!